What's up, Fanatics? Welcome to another edition of the Jersey Phanatics. I'm your host, Chris Dace, and joining me as always, the former Bullies turned Fanatics, Mr. Erik Perezzo.
Hello.
Mr. Tyler Freed.
Haha.
So we are 12 games into the Phillies season. They are 6-6 with a .500 winning percentage, 2 games behind in the National League East. Currently on a 1-win streak after a dismal game last night. So basically, we're just going to talk about how we're feeling 12 games in. Tyler, we'll start with you.
Oh, we don't want to start with the world's falling Erik?
That's, got to start on a positive note and build
positive
to
note.
Well, I mean, a less negative note.
I mean, I got all things positive, except for that fucking bullpen. That we can talk about when Erik starts talking. But I don't know. I mean, the hitting's not there, but we're still 6-6. So, I mean, I'm not too mad about it. Starting pitching, outside of the first 2 starts from Wheeler and Nola, have been pretty solid. Spencer Turnbull with some good innings out of him, out of the 5th hole. I don't know. I'm content with how they are. I don't know. This is better than their usual slow starts because I feel like typically they're like 3-10 at this point or some dumb shit.
Yeah, they're not hitting anywhere near 500 to like May. So the fact that we're starting this podcast 12 games in and they're 500, that's a plus. Plus, we're also have a better winning percentage than the Diamondbacks. So fuck them.
Yeah, fuck the D-bags.
They're 6-7, but that's only because they played one more game than us. Anyway, Erik, what are your thoughts 12 games into the Philly season?
I'm completely worried. I don't know where this season is heading. When Brandon Marsh is your batting average leader at 333, it kind of has me concerned. I expected Turner to be a lot better than what he was last year, and he's not. After watching today's game, which is the 10th, he slammed his helmet and bat on the ground because he was beyond pissed off that he struck out. And
honestly look at it, Brandon Marsh as your leading average getter isn't a bad thing.
No, it's not, but it shouldn't be. Like, I expected Turner to be the one that was leading, and he's not far behind. He has 277, so it's not like he's...
Yeah, I was going to say, he's 3rd on the team.
Yeah, it's not like he's beyond awful and trash, but, like, I don't know. I just expected a lot better of a start. Last year it was the slow start coming out of the World Baseball Classic and adjusting to the new city and blah, 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 all that bullshit. And it's kind of on the same line. And Harper, he's been pretty slow out of the gate as well. He only has a 214 average, and that's basically because of the one series, and that's when he just went ape shit. And other than that, he hasn't really done much. And Turner, going back to Turner, he's had those errors again at shortstop. I think he already is up to 4. If I remember correctly what Tom McCarthy said. So I'm worried about that defense. Like, there's been already chatter about possibly moving him over to second and moving Stott back to shortstop, not back. But there's already been rumors of that happening.
I actually heard that they were going to move Stott to shortstop, Turner to center, and then have Witt play second.
Oh,
that was like the Twitter theory. I don't think that's anything that they're actually going to do. They're going to play Turner at shortstop at least until the end of the season.
Yeah, I imagine that. But and you're talking about Witt, like, that's kind of been a terrible signing. It's only been 12 games, like you said, but
terrible signing. It's only been 12 games, and there's nothing can be terrible 12 games in.
Yeah, absolutely it can be.
Unless you're Johan Rojas' batting average.
You expected him to be able to come in and get a hit when you needed it, and he's not doing that. So, and I don't know why you put so much faith in a 38-year-old player anyway. That's way too much faith, in my opinion.
He's a platoon guy. Like, I don't think they're really putting that much faith into Whit Merrifield. I mean, they're putting him in situations to see what he could do, but if that's the playoffs, I don't think they put him in. That's the difference. I don't think in a crunch situation when we need a game, they're gonna go, oh, you know what? Let's put Whit in instead of Brandon Marsh because he's right-handed.
The only reason I would put Witt in over it would be over Rojas. Moving Marsh to center, putting him to left. Witt, just to give you his stats, he's played 6 games, 18 at bats, 1 run, 3 hits, and his average is 167 with a OPS of 417. He has half the bats Johan has, and Johan is 11 games, 31 at bats, and 161 batting average with a 429 OPS. So,
there's, like I said before, there's zero reason why Rojas should be on this team right now. He should be in AAA. He should be getting the consistent at bats and move up in the lineup so he has even more at bats. Like, the defense does not outweigh the offense, and I don't know who you put in center consistently because Pache isn't going to give you that boost that you need either. And I don't trust Merrifield being an everyday fielder. So I don't know what you do with that. Maybe put Schwarber back in left field and have Marsh go back to center for the time being until
you put Marsh in out. You put Marsh in center, and then you have a Pache, Witt platoon in left field, whatever, whoever's hot at the time. That's what you would do there if you put if you send Rojas down. I mean, yeah, I would give Rojas another series because he showed a little bit in this against St. Louis. He hit pretty well the first 2 games. Today, I think he went 0 for 3, but he had like a walk with it. Mm-hmm. I'd give him another series. Like last year, apparently, allegedly, when we went into St. Louis, he got hot. So something about St. Louis, he eats the same place that Ryan Howard used to eat when he went to St. Louis, because he got hot last year, and then that's when his hitting started to kind of even out and do a lot better during the regular season after we faced St. Louis.
The other thing that's kind of concerned me with the offense is we're very low on extra base hits. We're not able to get a double at all. And I don't know what it is, like 20 extra base hits out of 409 plate appearances. That's pretty rough.
I mean, you got to think who's not hitting. Like, you don't have Bryce Harper hitting well. You don't have Trey Turner hitting well. You don't have Bryson Stott. The guys who do the extra base hits, they're the ones not hitting. So I don't throw too much stock in that necessarily, just because once those guys get it going, hopefully they get it going. You would assume they do. I think that that'll even out and kind of fizzle, because you're going to get once it gets warm, home runs are going to be at a premium, I feel like.
The good thing is they're only 9th. Like in MLB, teams left on base per game, so they're 9th best. So there's a lot of teams that are worse than them currently. They're averaging about 6.64 runs left behind. The worst team is the Pirates, who we play this weekend coming up, with 9.58 runs left. So either we're going to help improve that number for them this weekend, or hopefully add to it. So what I want to talk about next is we're going to kind of break it down series by series. So I've done 4 series, 2 at home, 2 on the road. And the one that I think everybody was hyped for was opening weekend, finally back in Philly. They started off the season last year in Texas. The year before that was the COVID season. Yes, we started, but we started late because of all that. Or not COVID, it was the strike season. The first series was versus the Atlanta Braves. They played March 29th through the 31st. The first game we lost 3-9. Second game we lost 4-12. And then we closed off the series with 1 win, 5-4, which did not look like it was going to be a strong win if you followed that game the whole time. How did you feel about our first performance, our first series, and the first meeting with the Braves? Erik, we'll start with you on this one.
I thought everything was not really going well, but it was definitely, I don't know, better than what I expected. Like, I thought they would be hotter coming out of the gate, but just because of how everyone was talking before the series, and I thought that we were gonna just give it to them. Like, hey, this isn't last season and the season before against you guys wasn't a fluke. This is how we're gonna start off, and we're gonna put our foot on your throat immediately. So it was kind of disappointing a little bit with that, but I kind of expected it. I
To your
chose
point,
in
that first game felt like it. 6 innings in, Wheeler was pitching very well.
Oh yeah.
We got to Strider first. And then I think the bullpen was severely exposed that weekend, but it started there. But to your point, we had our foot on their throats and then lost it. But go on. Sorry to interrupt your
No,
thoughts.
you're good. Yeah, they took their foot off the pedal, or their bullpen shut us down, whatever the hell you want to say. But then our bullpen just completely imploded, and that's kind of been the storyline so far this year, is that the bullpen was rated all like the best in the MLB by all these beat writers and MLB purists, and they've sucked up until this series. This series was kind of where Alvarado kind of figured it out, and they got rid of Brogdon, which was the best part. So thank God, but he shouldn't have made the roster. I don't think he would have made the roster if Kirkering was healthy.
Did the Dodgers use him yet, or is
Yeah,
he
they
just
did,
chilling in
and
their minors?
he gave up 2 home runs immediately.
Ha! Suck at LA. Not everything
Yeah.
you did was great.
It was to like Correa and somebody else too. Almost immediately that he came in, he gave up back-to-back homers. So yeah, he's definitely torched, or whatever the hell you want to call it. But it's just crazy considering how good he was the 2022 year when we went to the World Series. You thought everything was going to be amazing with him coming back and everything, and just he sucked. And it hurts that we didn't have Kirkering. And he was apparently supposed to be coming back this weekend, but because of the rain, they pushed him back and they sent him back down to Florida. And he's supposed to be doing this and that. Same thing with Taiwan Walker. But anyway, yeah. So
Taiwan can stay down there. It's fine.
yeah, but with the first series, yeah, it's kind of what I expected. That's what I chose in a pick'em league. I chose Atlanta to win that series. I didn't choose. Or go ahead, Tyler. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. You're preaching about how we sucked against the Braves, because we absolutely did. I feel like we pulled out the last game out because Ranger, after the first inning, just kind of he did what Ranger does and just evens out, and he kept the Braves at bay, and then our offense picked up a little bit. But no, our offense was abysmal in that series. It just they didn't hit in clutch moments at all when they needed it. And then, of course, the first game was absolutely atrocious because the bullpen imploded. What was it? Sir Anthony gave up a run.
Grom gave up.
Alvarado, like they all just weren't. They didn't have it at all. Um, I I don't know. I can't say I didn't expect that kind of result. Like, to say that we won one game, I was kind of cool with. You know, if you told me we won one out of that series, I'm okay with that. It is the Braves. Their offense is absolutely absurd. Um, but I mean, they showed a little bit of promise. I mean, at first, not knowing what Spencer Strider is at now, maybe a little bit less, because I thought we had something figured out there, but I guess Strider just wasn't right. I don't know. Um,
If you look at our predictions from the first episode, or at least go back and listen to it, we did all say that they're going to win one game. Granted, not the game we had expected them to win. We thought with our 2 aces starting off with Wheeler and Nola that one of those was going to go in the books. We talked a little about Wheeler. Wheeler's been pitching great so far this year. They can't complain. Nola had a rough start. Tyler, what do you think about that Nola start on Saturday, opening night?
I was heavily drunk for that start. No, but I mean, looking back at it, it really was. It was. He just doesn't have his stuff yet. Everything's not. He doesn't have, a clean break on his stuff. He doesn't have the velocity that he usually picks up when it gets a little hotter. And that's the biggest thing. If you don't have your velocity, then it kind of makes all your other pitches, less successful. So I mean, he's grinding these games out. I mean, tonight. I know we'll get to it, but today's start against St. Louis, he definitely grinded that one out. I mean, he got the win, so it was good. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's the typical Nola. You just got to wait for warmer weather, and then he'll start to, show what he actually has.
All right, final thoughts on the opening weekend against the Braves, Erik.
It's gonna you know that series is just a proof of what's gonna come in the playoffs. We're gonna be going against them again. Hopefully, we're the ones that win the division.
You think that series is proof of what's going to happen in the playoffs?
Like just the tough matchups that it's going to come down to who can be the better bullpen, and that's what I think it's going to come down to, because their offense wasn't really great either. Just that second game against Nola, where their offense was amazing, but the first game, I don't think their offense was on fire. The third game, we won 5-4, so it's not like I don't know. I think it was just.
I kind of agree with you on that real quick. Sorry, I think you're breaking, like the internet's got us on a delay for you. But I kind of agree with you on that. I think our pitching helped them more than their batting helped them. Had our pitching been crisp, I don't think we would have had those outrageous scores. If Nola was in Nola form, they wouldn't have got ahead that quick. And then our bullpen just coming out and like they just weren't even ready to fucking start. I don't think it's reflective of what that's going to be later on. And I think when we do meet up with them again, hopefully it's a different story at that point. But to your point, when you were talking about like, hey, this is going to be kind of indicative of what the postseason is going to be, it's definitely more so along the lines of if our bullpen doesn't get right, we're leaving early.
I mean, if our bullpen doesn't get right, we're not even making it. Mm-hmm. I would be straight up about that. If you can't have the back end of your bullpen figured out enough to actually seal games, and I'm not saying they have to be perfect. No, they're not. I'm not assuming they're going to be perfect, but they need to have that stretch of, May, June, July where they are just on fire. Like they have to have a 3-month stretch where they are closing the games out. Like they're going to have their weeks where, some guys, they just all like they have to stop doing what the Phillies do and everyone just being terrible at once. If you're going to have a guy, like have Hoffman struggle for a couple, like a week or two. All right, cool. You have Alvarado, Dominguez, everyone else pick them up. And you just don't put Hoffman in, clutch situations for that couple weeks till he gets it figured out. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like the Phillies way is one guy is struggling, everyone's struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always if one guy in pitching struggling, everyone in pitching struggling. If offense is struggling, then offense is struggling. It's not that usually they can't match up at the same time.
No, that's like infuriating. You definitely want obviously the whole entire team to be firing on all cylinders, but it would be nice at least one sector of it. If it's your offense firing, okay, then maybe you can make up for the pitching, or if it's your pitching all firing, then it can make up for the lack of offense. But it's everything right now, and I think that's what bothers me the most.
And what's weird about that is you constantly hear about this ball club being so tight knit, so well adjusted, close bonding. Like you want to be in that clubhouse, and yet they can't seem to get it together on the field at the same time. Postseason, They do fire up. We'll give them that, but like you're dealing with it for 5-6 months beforehand, where they don't seem to sync, and you have such a quote unquote tight group. What the hell?
Well, you gotta think at this point, Schwarber, Castellanos, well, not necessarily Castellanos, but like Schwarber, JT, Harper, they're all kind of guys that are like, well, I mean, we want to save it for the postseason. Like that's what their goal is. So they want to be hot for postseason. So that's why, like, when they don't start the season hot, I'm not necessarily worried because as a baseball player, it's always a tale of two seasons. Like it's very rare that you struggle an entire season. So that's why I'm never mad that they struggle out of the gate, because if they're going to struggle out the gate, that usually means when it comes to August, September, October, they're usually on fire. Like they're usually the second half team that is just, they're out there winning 30 of 35 or whatever. So I don't know. That's why I don't hold too much stock till I say June is when I start really worrying about if a player's not turning on, or if, and obviously you can't struggle. Like like what they're doing right now is kind of in a sense perfect. Float at 500 while you're struggling, and then when you could turn it on, then you'll be able to just kind of get away from that 500 mark and get the games won.
Which is crazy if you think about it. We're bitching about a team that's at 500 right now.
It's the Philly standard.
Let's roll into the second series. We did the back half of the opening week here in Philadelphia before they got the hell out of Dodge before WrestleMania kicked off. Was against the Cincinnati Reds. So they opened that series on Monday, April 1st, where they dropped the game 3-6. Tuesday, which I think is the big game because there's a couple stories that come out of that, was the win 9-4. And then Wednesday, after delay, they dropped the series 1-4. How do we feel against the Reds? The Reds are a young and up-and-coming team. That Central Division right now, everybody was over 500 at the beginning of today until we took care of that. But how do we feel about the Red Series, Tyler?
The Red Series, I mean, the Reds are an interesting team just in general. They have a lot of fun offensive players. Their pitching, I think we made it look a lot better than they actually are, just because our guys are struggling. Obviously, we won the one game because Bryce Harper decided to go off for 3 home runs. The one game he's shown up for all season. I mean, we should have probably won that first game. What was it? It was Brogdon. Brogdon didn't give up basically a walk-off grand slam. I don't know. The Red Series was a weird one. You had a lot of weather going on, even in the second and third game of that series. A lot of weather. People were bitching about the errors that were happening. I mean, what do you expect with a sloppy field?
Yeah.
That's where I don't know how many errors Trey Turner has currently. But I know between those 2 wet games, he had at least 2 errors. So, I mean, that's why I take a step back from criticizing him too much, because he had kind of shitty circumstances for a couple of those errors. I know
He
his
was on
defense isn't
par
perfect
with the Reds' defense with errors too, because they fucked up a lot up at second too.
Well, that was
during
actually
both
why
those games.
we won game 2 was because of De La Cruz. He gave up a couple. He had 3 errors, I believe, by himself.
Like he was fucking up like crazy at second. Like ball getting stuck in his glove. He's doing some weird throws. Like I think part of it, and you guys can talk to it in the points. The first 6 games here in Philadelphia sucked weather-wise. Like it rained and postponed opening day to that Friday. It rained Saturday and delayed it 30 minutes for opening night. There was a delay on Wednesday's game of the Red Series. Tuesday, it just nonstop misting and freezing. Like it was not none of the first 6 games were fun weather, except for maybe the Sunday where we won kind of cleanly. Erik, how did you feel about the Red Series?
Well, to go off your point about the weather, I think Fransky said it today that everywhere they've gone, even home, has been shitty weather. So every single place that they've gone, they've had to deal with weather. So hopefully that's kind of what is the issue for them right now, is that the weather's kind of messing with everything. Because I think, just to continue that, like today with Nola, his speed was down by almost 3 miles per hour, like across the board. So, but with the Reds, like Tyler said, the first game we lost with a basically walk-off grand slam in the 10th inning, but we were winning 2-0 up until the 6th inning, until the bullpen came in and just started screwing up. Like it's been the case so far. The second game was awesome. You had Turnbull come out, who you didn't know what you were going to get, and then he turned out to be one hell of a pitcher. And he's been, I don't want to say like the ace, but he's been Mr. Reliable 3 games.
Consistent.
Yeah. And that's only been, he's only pitched 2 games so far, and he's about to pitch tomorrow, or is it?
He pitched today, didn't he?
Yeah.
No, he pitched yesterday.
He pitched yesterday, so I believe he pitches Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh no, he pitched Monday. Yesterday was Wheeler.
Yeah, yesterday was Wheeler. Yeah. So it's been, and that's when they actually showed up offensively too. Was that second game? But it's just been like a wild ride of who you're going to get, and you kind of see what you're going to get in the first 2 innings, 3 innings, how they're going to hit, and it's just been chasing nonstop, balls out of the zone, especially Castellanos. Even though he said that he worked on it all off season, and after November, it pissed him off so much that he let the team down, and he blamed himself for what happened against the Diamondbacks. And
As he
dude,
should.
yeah, dude, you're doing the same exact thing. Like balls are nowhere close to the strike zone you're swinging. And even Turner kind of picked up that so far too. So hopefully that changes.
Don't even start defending Castellanos.
Oh, I am until you get rid of Kevin Long, and then Castellanos still performs that way.
Oh my God! Always finding
a
new excuse.
Kevin Long for 2 years that he should be fucking gone. Every player they've brought into this organization has been ruined by Kevin Long, except for Brandon Marsh, which makes me think Brandon Marsh can't hear him with all that hair in his fucking head. So Kevin Long is the fucking problem. And I'll say it, he's the problem for Schwarber. He's the problem for Castellanos. He fucked up Turner. Every big signing we brought in, Kevin Long has had his hands in, and all of a sudden they can't hit. Kevin Long was at the World Baseball Classic.
Kyle Schwarber has had his most successful seasons with Kevin Long as his hitting coach.
And highest strikeouts.
Well, that comes with hitting 40 bombs.
No.
Yes, it does.
Matt Olson.
Matt Olson, how many? He had to have struck out a bunch.
Not as much as Schwarber. Schwarber led the fucking league in strikeouts.
Not as much as Schwarber.
And Olson had 10 more home runs than him.
Listen, Schwarber to me it's like bringing Ryan Howard back, right? Like Ryan Howard.
I don't know why we're going on that path.
What? Ryan Howard?
I didn't like Howard either. He had one good year.
You just don't like people who are good offensively. Like, what are you talking about?
He is
good 1 year. The dude won Rookie of the Year in 06 and then MVP in 07. So that's 2 good years.
A year and a half.
Already disproved. And then
a year and a half.
08, he
a
carried
calendar
us to the
year.
World Series.
It wasn't him.
It definitely was him.
It was not him.
He had like 50-some home runs that year, 100+ RBIs. You're gonna tell me a guy that does that's not helping carry you to a World Series?
Now I gotta look up Ryan Howard's stats.
Wait, hold on. What happened after Ryan Howard tore his Achilles? I believe the Phillies fell apart and got worse every year in the playoffs.
Didn't he tear his Achilles in 2010?
Every year.
Because they got bad in 2009. So you can't blame his heel.
Bad in 2009. Oh,
they lost the World Series. It's the down effect.
And losing to the Yankees.
Yeah, we're going to lose the divisional series.
Overpaid Yankees.
We lost to the Yankees because Cole Hamels kind of forgot how to pitch.
We're getting way off topic here. The point is,
fire
Castellanos is fucking trash right now.
No, fire Kevin Long. I firmly believe that he has influenced these guys to, like, every year you made a big signing for a position player and they sucked.
All right, let's meet in the middle here. I'm not disagreeing that Kevin Long probably should get fired, but I am going to disagree with that's why Castellanos is chasing a ball that's in the fucking dirt 5 feet away. No, that's just
they all are
being an idiot.
If it was only Castellanos, you're right, but it's
all
only
are. Castellanos consistent.
Harper's doing it. Harper barely has a better average than Castellanos. He had one good game.
Didn't Stott come out and say that he changed his approach from what Long was telling him to do? Like, didn't he come out after the game and say that, like...
Listen, I'm not arguing about Long. I that really wasn't my point of the argument.
Okay. But, yeah, so...
But Castellanos was reviewing his hits we'll get to the Cardinals series. He did way better this series, partly because he reviewed his hits, also because I put him on the bench on my fantasy team. I feel like both are correlated.
I can't wait until we get to the Cardinal series because I'm going to disprove all of this. Because if you watch his hits, they're fucking terrible.
But
they gave him a hit off of a high pop that was in between first and second that they just couldn't field.
He gives him the same flack that the hits that get scored to Schwarber. Mr. Big Bombs, I'm going to hit him out of the park, do these bloopers over first, and you're like, oh, it's great! He did a fucking hit! It's the same fucking hit.
At least they hit the outfield.
So are his.
No, the ball I'm literally talking about that they gave a hit never even made it past the second baseman. I don't understand what they did defensively, but it should have been scored an error. It was absolutely atrocious last night, and they scored it a hit.
The flack that he's getting now is flag that should have been pointed at Schwarber same time last year that didn't happen.
I think there
bullshit.
is flack.
No. See, that's the thing though, because the flack that he's getting now is the flack that he should have been getting in the postseason. Because after his hot start in against the Braves, he did this exact same bullshit against the Diamondbacks. He didn't change absolutely anything.
He disappeared
Except for
entirely.
he's just not seeing the ball for whatever reason. It's probably because Liam's not here.
Where's he at?
He's at home in school, I believe.
I'd pull my kid out. He can pull his kid out. It's not commitment.
I don't know.
No, Liam's homeschooled.
So
well, then, what?
There's a clubhouse.
And why is he not at the Phillies all the time?
He should just have a room there.
That's not what happened during the postseason. Liam left for whatever reason to not he wasn't with them during the championship series, but he was there the whole division series. So
he didn't go to Arizona?
No, he wasn't there for Arizona at all. He wasn't during that entire series. He wasn't with Casty.
Oh, well, that's pretty fucked up. So there are highlights that came out of the Red series. That Tuesday game was a spectacle to see, even though Harper has really been kind of meh through the first 12 games. That night he hit 3 home runs, including the grand slam. And then the other story on that side of it is Pinto, who was brought down from Rochester, New York, passed me on the way to the ballpark, and was there by the third inning to help close out the Spencer Turnbull start. Erik, we'll start with you. How did you feel about those 2 moments? Because those are in this garbage of 12 games. Those 2 are pretty good gems.
It was the funniest story ever. That he was all the way up there, and they sent him a car in order to get all the way down here. And like you said, he showed up in the third or fourth inning, and then he ended up pitching 4 innings. He went up and said, "Hey, how you doing, Skip?" to Rob, and Rob's like, "Get out there, dude. You got to go pitch." It's like, okay. And then he went out there, warmed up, came in, and ended up pitching 4 or 5 innings, which was hell of impressive. Just getting out of the car for 7-hour ride?
Yeah.
It's a long ride from there. But yeah, that series I expected more because it was the Reds. Like Tyler said, they're kind of better than what I anticipated. I thought they were garbage still. So for them to not be garbage, I was kind of thrown off.
That division's weird right now. Tyler, how do you feel about Pinto's debut in Harper's 3 home run game?
I mean, Harper's just Harper. I don't know. He kind of actually pissed me off in that series because that night he was, no glasses, batting gloves. He hit 3 home runs, and then the next night he comes in. I understand the weather was a little different, but he had glasses over his eyes for whatever reason, the glare or something, and he was no batting gloves. I don't know. I'm very a traditionalist. I have my tendencies when something's working, you don't change it when I'm playing. So I just felt like that was weird. Why would you change whatever mojo you had going on? So, I mean, Harper was cool. I mean, he got his 1,000th run scored, right? That was the stat that he had during that. And the whole Pinto thing, I mean, I just hope he pitches like that all the time and not just because he wasn't thinking about it and he was in the car all day.
Burn him out quick because he went too many innings. So the next series, we rolled into the weekend, our first road trip. I missed the entire thing because I was busy. So you guys are going to take the lead on this. WrestleMania. They won Friday the 5th, 4-0 over the Nationals. They won Saturday 5-2. And the game that I did catch in between WWE World and WrestleMania Night 2, they lost 2-3. Very painfully. Erik, your thoughts on the National Series for this past weekend? You guys get to lead the conversation because I didn't watch.
I thought it was going to be a sweep. I really did. I thought everyone, because especially how they came out, and they won the first game 4-0, and Nola was actually looking pretty good. So I was like, this is in the bag. Nationals don't even seem like they want to play at all. It was just I don't know, it looked like we were playing a AAA team. So I expected a lot more out of it, but I was very um, happy to see that Nola was actually a better pitcher than what he was the previous start. So that was definitely what you wanted and what you looked forward to. Suarez, the same thing. He did really well. He came back and bounced back after his, I don't want to say rough start, but he gave up the 2 home runs in the previous start right away in the first inning. And Sanchez even looked good for the third game, but unfortunately he still got the loss. But yeah, that series was, like I said, I was expecting a sweep, so 2 of 3, can't really complain.
Tyler,
It's
your
hard
thoughts
to
on the
sweep.
Nationals?
It's hard to sweep in the MLB. I don't care even if you're facing the Nationals, a AAA team. Like, it's not easy to sweep a series in the MLB, just because you need a lot of things to go right in that short amount of period of time. I don't know. I mean, I'm happy with it. As long as they're out there winning series, that's all you can really look for right now. Especially against teams that you should win the series against. Should they have swept? Absolutely. But I'm content with 2 out of 3. If you can go into every series and win 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4, you're in for a successful season. And that seems to be what they want to do on the road. So I'm cool with that. I wish they would just play better at home.
Yeah, I think they said today on the radio broadcast that this was the first time that they actually have like a winning opening series on the road since 2011.
Yeah, this is the first time since 2011 that their first series on the road, or first couple series, they had a winning record after.
Yeah, the first road trip. There it is. So pretty impressive that it's been 13 years and they haven't had a winning road trip to start a year off. But it's against the Nationals and against St. Louis, who you're about to turn it over to. So
Yeah. So they rolled into St. Louis on Monday the 8th with a win 5-3. Spencer Turnbull was on the mound. On the 9th, they dropped the game 0-3 with Wheeler on the mound. And then today, this afternoon, they picked up a win 4-3 with Nola on the mound. And from what I understand is they didn't even know they were going to get the game in today because they had another shit weather day in St. Louis. How do you feel about the Cardinal series? We'll start with you on this one, Tyler.
So obviously first game is good. They got the dub. The second game was really, really, really frustrating because I don't have the stats in front of me, but they left a lot of runners in scoring position.
Yep, and I think they had 13 strikeouts for the night.
Yeah, I think they had 13 strikeouts today as well.
Yep, they made that comment back-to-back days with 13 strikeouts.
Yeah, like it was infuriating watching the second game because I think there was a point where bases were loaded. You had essentially your top 3 guys, Schwarber, Turner, and Harper, all batted. Or no, it was Rojas,
Schwarber, and then Turner.
Schwarber, and then Turner, and they all 2 of them, Schwarber and Turner, both struck out looking like idiots. And then I think Rojas, he might have struck out too. I don't remember his exact result. But that's frustrating because like you expect these guys to, especially the top 2 guys, to, like, you have 0 outs. Just Schwarber, just hit it up in the air. You hit it in the air, then you're probably scoring whoever's standing on third. Generally, unless it's Castellanos or himself, we have a pretty fast guy.
Wasn't it also last night's game where like the pitcher had walked 2 consecutively, hadn't thrown a damn strike, and then it might have been Harper on that turnaround because I think Schwarber and Turner made it, and then Harper came up, and Harper just started swinging at everything.
Yes.
Even though this guy hadn't thrown a fucking strike yet.
Yeah. Yeah, that was another segment of the game where those 2 were up, I think 1 out, and then you had Harper, JT, and Stott. They all got out, which I feel like we all can agree. We all thought Stott would have a better start to the season, much better start. I feel like he's struggling on both sides currently. mean, he's doing okay defensively, but he definitely has more errors than you would like to see out of him. Since we were all basically saying we think he's going to be the Gold Glove at second base.
Mm-hmm.
Because he had the kid. Screwed up everything.
Listen, man, I have a kid, and I went out and balled out on Sunday. All right, so I don't think that has anything to do with it.
But like you were saying with that second game, that was infuriating. Schwarber went 0-3, 0 for 3. Bryce Harper 0 for 4. JT 0 for 3. Castellanos was the only bright spot with 2 for 4. Turner 2 for 3. And Marsh 2 for 3 as well. So
That was the game. That was the game. I think Castellanos is more like 1 for 4. I don't think that was, or we'll go 1 for 3 because the one hit they gave him and I'm not even saying because it's Castellanos.
Mm-hmm.
It should not have been a hit for anyone. It was literally just like a little blooper over the first baseman going to his right. The second baseman was coming to his left. It just like dropped in, and then the second baseman just fumbled it rather than picking it up and then throwing it to first to get him out. Like it was just like the ugliest play, and they gave him a hit for it. The scorekeepers, I don't understand what they're doing. I feel like they just cater to everyone. They don't give out errors like they should. They just score everything a hit. It's stupid.
well, they come back weeks later and change it. They just changed a thing that happened. I think it was on April 5th or April 3rd for the Mets. That they said there was a hit and they changed it to an error or vice versa.
Yeah, don't they know they're fucking with fantasy?
They have 7 days to change a scorekeeping decision.
Well, I love that everyone was saying it's so nice that they can change that, but they never changed that perfect game by that Detroit pitcher.
Yeah, he definitely got screwed on that one. I think they should go back and just award him a perfect game.
But yeah, so this series again, like how I expected, because St. Louis, they don't have anyone really. Arenado is old. Goldschmidt is old. So they don't really have much in the tank. And
not to keep beating up that game 2 of the series, but that's also a Sonny Gray start where he skipped rehab.
Yeah.
So I don't understand what it is with the Phillies when it comes to Sonny Gray. I give Sonny Gray credit where credit's due, but like you would think a guy that didn't kind of go at least get some kind of warm up before coming right into the majors, you would be able to take some advantage of, but couldn't.
I feel like Sonny Gray just has that secret weapon. Like, yeah, there's always. I feel like every player has that one team where they could just they do whatever they want, however they want, and Sonny Gray has always did that against us.
No matter what team he's on, if for whatever reason we're just whiffing air.
That was Dom Smith. Remember him from the Mets? Every time he came up, he hit a home run or something. He was always a clutch hit.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, go ahead.
With the Cardinals, exactly what I was saying. Like they don't really have anyone anymore. So it's exactly how I thought. I thought they'd win the series at least. My prediction of getting a sweep seems to be going out the window.
It'll be interesting. Especially that for whatever reason, that Central Division, every team was above 500 or at 500 at the beginning of the day today. The Cardinals are now below it by 1 game. The Pirates are leading it. And we face them this weekend.
Well, but I mean, that's because the Central Division, they're all so mediocre. Like no team is like like what the Cubs are probably the best team in the division. And like I between Cubs and Pirates right now, they're probably the 2 best out of I guess Milwaukee. But they're all like I don't know, like I don't fear any of them. Milwaukee always chokes in the postseason. They always find a way to lose. Cubs and Pirates, Pirates to me, they're always going to be the team that they always start strong and then they fizzle out. They show their true colors because they just don't. They're always just so young, and young guys generally fizzle out if you don't schedule that with the right veteran players.
The only crazy thing that I think the Pirates have in their favor is they did play the Orioles, and won that series, which is interesting to me. But other than that series, they played the Marlins, who are 1-11. They played the Nationals, who we beat, and they played the Tigers for 2 games. So they weren't taking on stellar teams, but the fact that they won the series against the Orioles, I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I thought the other interesting thing was the fact that I think Fransky said it today too, that the Central Division is the only division that hasn't played each other yet.
Oh,
So
really?
they haven't had any divisional games yet. They're the only ones.
That also kind of makes more sense on why they're all kind of at that median level, because they haven't beat up on themselves yet.
Yeah.
I think this actually the last couple days or this week is the first time the Reds and the Brewers are facing off.
Okay. Yeah. So
but to your point, they've also been playing like the worst of every other division,
which is insane with the Marlins. Like I thought they were going to be a lot better than what they were, but they're experiencing injuries like crazy.
Well, I mean, what they have what's his name? Their best pitcher, Alcantara. He's out for the year with and that's a whole thing that I feel like we should touch on by the end of this is Tommy John surgery and how everyone is having it now. But Alcantara has it. Their best prospect, their pitching prospect, he just went out and is going to have it.
Perez, right?
Yeah, and they have another pitcher, I believe, that is out for a long period of time. I don't think it's Tommy John, but I think it's something else. Yeah, I mean the Marlins, they're the Marlins. They were gonna suck. Did I think they were gonna be 1-11 at this point? No, but it doesn't surprise me. Like I'm not sitting here going, "Oh my God, I can't believe that."
Did you see that they actually declined the 5th-year option on their manager?
the hell
So
I can believe that.
So he's like a dead duck manager right now.
I mean, it's Miami. They do everything stupid.
It's insane. You don't really hear that. It's always picking up the option or hiring them back for one more year, but it seems like they're going in the opposite direction if it continues.
So I want to kind of end our show on two things. We're going to do the Fast Phillies segment where we're going to go over a couple topics I want to cover based on the first 12 games and where the future might go, and then take a look at what the next 2 series we'll see before we record again, which is the Phillies versus the Pirates and the Phillies versus Rockies as they begin a homestand this weekend. First question I have for you guys, and Erik, we'll start with you. Zach Wheeler is pitching phenomenally. He is 0-3. Do you think on the next homestand, where I think he'll end up facing the Rockies, the Phillies' bats will finally turn up for him, or are we just going to be plagued with Phillies bats always failing Zach Wheeler?
Yeah, I think they're gonna. Yeah, I hate to say it, but it's probably not going to be a 9-4 game or something like that. It's probably going to be like 2-1 or even 1-0. But I think he's gonna, especially figure it out even more than what he has already. I think he's just too good of a pitcher to keep having hanging sliders and hanging curveballs right down the middle. Like it's not like him. So I definitely think I don't want to say the bats are going to wake up and go insane, but he's definitely going to get at least 1 or 2 in the next. What do they play? 10?
7 by the time we record.
Okay, yeah, 7. So yeah, he can definitely get the next victory against the Pirates, which is on Sunday.
Is that when he would start?
Too. Sunday is the start.
Yeah, he starts Sunday against the Pirates. I think it starts to get nice for his next couple starts. So I think the bats definitely wake up a little bit. Yeah, I would assume he gets a W in the next outing. Because I think he's just going to go out there and shut the Pirates down on a beautiful Sunday afternoon in Philadelphia, given weather.
Sleeve tanks for the kids.
Oh yeah,
you gonna take Maddie? See if they'll give you one for her? Like, she is
better.
2X.
They absolutely do give it out because it's 14 and under, so she is under 14.
Yeah.
No, I mean Wheeler, he's gonna win. He's just it sucks that he's 0-3. It's kind of like what was it? Cole Hamels had one of those seasons where it was just he was lights out. He should have been Cy Young type deal, and his record was like 6-12 or some bullshit. I think the year Nola was top 3 in Cy Young, he had the same situation because
Yep.
for whatever reason, we don't want to give run support to our ace.
Yeah, it's abysmal. But sticking on the pitching topic, we'll start with you on this question, Tyler. The 5th starter dilemma, if you want to call it a dilemma, Taiwan's return is on the horizon, but Sanchez and Turnbull aren't doing that bad. So what do we do? Do we go back to that stupid ass 6-man rotation, or who gets demoted to the bullpen?
I actually don't know what you do here right now. Originally, I was all for just submit Taiwan back into the rotation. We should be fine. But unless how do you know how soon he's supposed to be? Like, is it like the next week?
This
I
weekend.
think it's this weekend. He could be potentially ready. So I mean, by the end of the month, you're going to have to make a decision.
I don't know. You can't. I don't think you can shut Turnbull down. Like he's been. I don't think he's given up an earned run yet in 2 starts.
I don't think so. He's got 2 wins, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he's like. I mean, he's
Cy Young candidate right now.
He's giving you 5 and 6 out of his 2 starts, so he's giving you 11 innings. I think he's 10 Ks, 1 walk. I don't think you can pull that out of your rotation. So, I mean, as of right now, unless Turnbull has like a couple games where he struggles, I don't know. I think you keep Turnbull there, and I mean. Yeah,
it's like that 5th starter that we had before, even though they weren't that great. You had the Noah Syndergaard and who was he platooning with?
Maybe that's what I think. That's what they might do, the six starter, just to kind of spread everyone out and not overuse them too early. Like say you're going to save innings on Wheeler and Nola because their starts will be delayed at least another day. For later in the season, or until Turnbull to start struggling or Sanchez starts struggling, because obviously you're not going to move Ranger or anyone else.
Yeah, you just assume the top 3 stay the top 3. Erik, what's your thoughts on the Taiwan problem coming?
Unfortunately, I'm in the same boat as Tyler. I don't know what you're doing with it. I was trying to think about it all day after I heard, because apparently it was supposed to start on I think they said Friday. So that
I'll
would
fight
take
him
over.
if he's starting Friday. I want to see Turnbull. Oh, I said I'll fight him if he's starting Friday because I want to see Turnbull pitch on time.
Sanchez
is Friday.
Yeah, Sanchez is starting on Friday, but Turnbull.
Sanchez is tomorrow, is it? Oh no, Rangers tomorrow.
Turnbull's on Saturday, but they wanted to get him like to play for Lehigh Valley. I think it was yesterday they wanted him to pitch, but because the weather was so shitty, they kind of held him back. And that's why he's down in Florida, and he's supposed to be doing two starts, or at least like 6 innings. I think they wanted him to get to minimum.
So now he can be back by the White Sox series, which is the following weekend.
No, they're trying to get him up this weekend. But
shit.
Yeah, from what all the stories were saying. So the only issue with that 6-man rotation is that Wheeler has come out and said that he doesn't like the extra day rest. So it worked with Nola before, but Wheeler has said that he doesn't like it. So I don't know if you stick him in there after Turnbull, or you do Turnbull, Wheeler, then Walker, and then Nola, and have the 6-man that way, or what you're going to do. But personally, I would keep Walker in the bullpen because you need bullpen arms right now. But you also have Kerkering coming back this weekend too. So both pitchers are coming back. So you're going to have to figure out what to do with pitchers to begin with. So I guess Pinto's going back down, and somebody else is going to go back down too.
I assumed Nelson and Ortiz, right? Or is Ortiz already down?
Ortiz is injured, I believe.
Oh.
That's who Pinto came up for. I could see Nelson going down, and then I don't know where else they go with that.
But you're paying Walker way too much money, so he has to be in the rotation somewhere. And unfortunately, because I don't really trust him in the rotation, I would much rather him be a long arm in the bullpen, but it's not going to happen. So I fear that it's going to be.
I think it's going to be Sanchez. I think
Yeah,
Sanchez gets the bump, unfortunately.
yeah. Like that's who I keep leaning towards to go back into the bullpen.
They'll ride Turnbull as long as they can, and then when Turnbull starts to get shaky, then we'll move Sanchez back to a starter.
Yeah, I feel like Turnbull is kind of like last year's Bailey Falter, or not Falter, Matt Strom, where like Strom came out, he had what was it, 3 or 4 good starts. He was like our only good starting pitcher, and then whoever it was, Ranger was working his way back. So then Strom was struggling a little bit, and they were like cutting his innings back. So he was basically only pitching 4 innings. And then they moved him to the pen. I think maybe that's what they do. Maybe they do kind of one of them deals where while they're trying to work Walker to be consistent, they have Turnbull kind of like ready to be his relief, essentially.
I could see that. Honestly, the last question I got for you guys before we move into talking about the next series is, who do you think was the highlight of the first 12 games? We talked a little bit about Brandon Marsh. JT is off to kind of a strong start. Had a little bit of an injury scare last night, but came back kind of strong today. Any players that you think stood out that you didn't expect to stand out?
I think with Marsh, that's the number one. Like I was reading all about like stats on him today, and he's like on par with some of the best hitters in the league, which was Trout, and they even mentioned like Bonds with his OPS and all sorts of stuff. So he's on some unbelievable tear right now.
With a shortened spring training.
Yeah. So like I don't know how long that's going to last for, but for the first 12 games, I think he's your best player right now, and Turnbull too, both of them.
Mm-hmm. Tyler?
Yeah, I was gonna go with Turnbull. I mean, yeah, he's only your 5th starter, but he's giving you 2 Ws. That's more than Wheeler can say. That's more than Nola can say. So I mean, you just didn't expect to get that 2 quality starts from him. You kind of expect them to be a little shaky. He might have gotten the wins, but like they were quality. Like they weren't. I didn't fear that we were going to lose any of the games because he was pitching. And I feel like he's just locating very well. I feel like that's his biggest thing. Is his pitches are just they're where he wants them, and he's just feeling it right now.
Nice. So we look to the future. So our next recording will come next week, probably on the 18th, dropping on the 19th. So we'll get 7 games in to discuss. What I want to talk about is both series. We face off against the Pirates starting tomorrow night, or tonight if you're listening to this, at 6:40. Then they play them again Friday at 6:40, Saturday at 4:05, and then Sunday at 1:35. Weather-wise, Thursday and Friday, they're calling for chances of rain. But temperature-wise, we are, after we get past Saturday, 70s and beyond for the rest of the series. So we'll start with the Pirates series. Tyler, we'll start with you. How do you think they're going to fare against them? And did they win the series? Did they split the series? Did they drop the series?
I think we'll do pretty well. I feel like we're at the bottom of their rotation as well. I think it's kind of fun that Falter and Sanchez get to face each other because they were kind of basically we have Sanchez because we got rid of Falter. Like we chose Sanchez over him. I think it really depends on how shitty the weather is. If we have real shit Thursday and Friday, I think we split. If they're not that terrible weather games, like actual rain, I think we go 3-1. I don't think we sweep. Like I said, sweeping is really hard in MLB, and Pirates are pretty good.
The only downside, I guess the upside to the potential rain tomorrow night and Friday night is the temperature will be 71 degrees on Thursday and 65 on Friday. So it's not going to be 30 degrees and fucking freezing rain.
Miserable,
Erik, your thoughts? Yeah, Erik, your thoughts on the Pirate series?
I think it's going to be 2-2, but I think Thursday's going to be rained out, and it's going to be a doubleheader on Sunday. So, we're going to split the series. I think it's going to be Wheeler and Suarez who are going to get the wins. Turnbull's not going to get the loss, but that's his game to lose. And Sanchez is not going to lose the Falter, but it's going to be a loss too. I think bullpen implodes those 2 games.
Even with DJ Jazzy Jeff appearing afterwards?
For which game?
For Friday, the Sanchez game.
Nope,
Yo,
that's
No.
100% a loss
wait, for
now.
real? DJ Jazzy Jeff's gonna be there Friday?
It says post game party with DJ Jazzy Jeff. Wow, I
Yo,
can't fucking
that's
say it.
lit. I didn't even realize we had tickets to that. That's awesome.
I'm a little
hyped.
jealous that they like I told Jess to have a girls' night on the night the DJ Jazzy. I would have left by the 7th inning. I would have stayed for DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Yeah,
And
you
the City
definitely.
Connect jerseys too.
That's what I'm disappointed for because actually it's probably beneficial to my bank account after WrestleMania weekend not to be there on the City Connect because I
Going
would have
into
bought a
the
jersey.
pro shop and bought a jersey. Yeah.
Yeah, like that. It looks cool in person. I'll never wear it, but it looks cool.
The amount
I
of
want to get
time
the
that
hat.
I have sat on Fanatics debating on buying a hat and jersey is kind of unhealthy.
I do like the hats. So I do think the hat is probably more likely than the jersey at this
Yes,
point.
100%.
Well, all
jersey.
right, let's talk about that. I mean, that's a fair
Sure.
topic to bring up right now. But how do you guys feel about the jerseys? Because after looking at the full uniform, I like the jerseys a lot better than I did a couple months ago when they were leaked.
Yeah, I agree. Like when they first were leaked, they were awful, like terrible. But when you saw the full jersey together, I think that's when it was like, yeah, all right, I like these. It's not like I wouldn't be like Dace and buy them in the pro shop like when I'm there, but like I definitely would end up getting it, but not like, yeah, I want it now. But the hat, 100%. If I saw that, I'd buy it immediately.
The font's a little weird. I seen what it did to like the number 7 and shit like that. Not that I would have gotten a Turner one anyway. It's just it's cool. Like the way they broke down like why they did what they did because at least to me the color was off-putting at first.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, so when I looked at that jersey a couple months ago, I was like, "Ooh, that font is absolutely atrocious. It's disgusting. I don't like it." But after finding out the reasoning behind that font, I appreciate the font. I don't love the font, but it makes me like the jerseys that much, like a little bit more.
What's the
It
reasoning
gave
behind the font?
it's the same as the script, the same font as the Constitution, I think.
Yes, it's to replicate the script that they wrote in for the Declaration of Independence.
Why does the 7 suck?
It looks weird. It kind of like.
Oh, I know. I'm saying, why does that suck though?
It doesn't look like a 7.
Yeah, it looks like a question mark.
Yeah. But the thing I think that Philly did right that other City Connect jerseys aren't doing right, the attention to detail. So like the font is based on the Constitution. The colors, even though I wasn't a big fan of the first, it is the colors of Pennsylvania. It's Philadelphia flag, I think it is.
Yeah, Philadelphia's.
They've got the love patch on there, which represents the brotherly love, even though that seems like an ironic title for Philadelphia.
The fade of blue is to emphasize the blue collar of Philadelphia.
And the skyline is on the inside. Like the attention to detail they did for it is way better than like Washington said, "Oh, we're gonna make it a cherry blossom color and put a cherry blossom on it."
Listen, don't hate on Washington's cherry blossom jersey is probably my favorite City Connect out there.
I was gonna say, I completely agree with that, Tyler. I love them jerseys.
I like it, but didn't like Pittsburgh use their airport code or some bullshit on the front of theirs?
Oh yeah, no, a lot of cities have been terrible. Like I don't hate it as much as other people's do, but the Padres one, I mean, what is that? How is that representing San Diego? What are they, colorful? Like that's
I'm tired of shit brown, and I'm gonna put as many fucking colors on this thing as I can.
Yeah, I feel like that's really what they were going for.
But I do like the attention to detail, and I've come to love it. I don't know if I'll shit in the hat or whatever they did on the Jay Leno show 10 years ago, but we'll see. See how if DJ Jazzy Jeff wears it, maybe I'll shit on it. I don't know.
They put baked beans in it, man.
Oh,
they didn't shit in it.
I don't know. It's Philadelphia. They might have. Maybe they did, and then it had to go like, oh, that was a good idea, but we're on TV, so let's do baked beans instead, because that'll get on air. Your shit won't. Before we end the show, we got one more series before we record next week, and that's against the Colorado Rockies. What are your thoughts, Erik? How are we going to do that? We're going to win that, drop it? I don't think you could split it. It'd be weird.
Full sweep.
Full sweep.
It's against the Rockies, man. They're kind of in the same boat that I imagine the Marlins are in. That they tried to bring in players in order to get like a winning season and get to the playoffs, but it's not really working for them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they've kind of been hit with the injury bug as well. So yeah, we're going. That's full sweep. Fuck them.
All right.
Remember when we wanted Chris Bryant? Go ahead.
No, you're good. Mark this shit on your calendar at 9:20 on April 10th. I can happily say I finally agree with Erik, and we're gonna clean sweep the Rockies. Mark that shit on your calendar.
Wow, you guys have a lot of faith. I'll be realistic. I think they win the series. I don't think they sweep.
The weather is going to be absolutely beautiful. There's a BOGO fucking hot dog night. It's all there for the making.
Listen,
BOGO.
Monday when Nola's starting, it's going to be 80 degrees.
Yeah, but it's Jackie Robinson Day, and we don't have any black players. So karma's going to get us on that one.
Nola's going to go for probably 8 and like a third shutout innings. He like lets up two batters, and then Hoffman comes in and saves the day.
Not even our only black bullpen guy.
No, because we have 2 of them.
Junior Martez.
Who's the other? I don't really know who's in our bullpen.
Alvarado. Oh, actually, we have more. We have Marte. We have.
They're all Dominican, though, right?
Still black.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, they're not African.
Oh
You're gonna have to edit this out, dude.
I'm not editing this shit out. It's true. We're a very white team.
Oh yeah, that's 100%.
In the city of brotherly love. So you really want a City Connect jersey? Put a black guy in it.
Listen, they're gonna call up what's his name, Crawford from like AA to bring him up just for the day.
We just need you for the 15th. We understand it's tax day, but it's also Jackie Robinson Day. So we're gonna need your help so we get the clean sweep here. I think they lose that game. That's my prediction. Or as Paul Heyman say, it's a spoiler.
It's messed up. It's
Nola
Day.
It's either that one or we lose the mental stigma day.
I mean, that sounds about right.
And you don't want white people losing their shit.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they're gonna end up too much like Erik.
Yeah, alone in your basement.
So we're gonna come out with a winning record then next week. We should be well above 500 coming into our recording on Thursday.
Yes.
They have an off day. We'll drop Jersey Phanatics hopefully on Friday before they do the White Sox series. So we'll talk a little bit about that, and then their second meeting with the Reds. We want to make any bold predictions after 12 games? We win in the division. Spencer Strider's down on the IL because I drafted him.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Bold decision, bold prediction. They're going to have a losing April.
Ooh, you just said they're sweeping next week.
Okay, that's next week.
So they're just going to lose the remainder of the month?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Get him off the podcast with that bullshit. Bold prediction. My bold prediction is I think for during the Pirates series, 2 of our hitters figure it out. I don't know which 2 yet. I'm thinking it's going to be Turner. I feel like we just, on Friday, everyone just over his shit and does another standing ovation. And then, I feel like in the St. Louis series, he was kind of seeing the ball a little bit better. Today wasn't great, but the other 2 games, it looked like he was seeing the ball better. So I think he's getting there. And he's just a streaky hitter. So I think it'll be Turner. And for fantasy and everything else, I'm hoping it's Stott that also figures it out. But he looks like he's not seeing the ball at all.
No, like 0.
My bold prediction is somebody hung with us for the full 67 minutes we did, and they'll hear my Jackie Robinson comments and text me about it. And that happens. I will not make a retraction next week.
It's probably going to be my dad. So
I think they'll have a winning April. I think it'll be barely winning April, but I think they will. Like I said, they got the Pirates, the Rockies that we just discussed. When we come back next week, we'll talk about the White Sox and the Reds, and then they have the Padres and Angels to close out the month.
How do you think they're not going to have a winning schedule listening to those
because we haven't had a winning April in so many years. It's been
Yeah, but
awful.
we also
every
haven't been
week.
anywhere close to 500. I feel like this far into the season either, until like until the middle of May is usually when we get to 500 and above.
By the end of this podcast, I think they will. Ask me next week because it really depends on what they do with the Pirates.
Even with the Pirates, okay, say we split the Pirates.
Mhm.
You have 3 against Colorado. We at least win that series. 3
Mhm.
against the White Sox. We at least win that series.
You better win that series.
All right, so now that's what 2,
Probably
4,
4 games above 500 at that
6,
point.
6. That's 6 wins right there. Cincinnati you're probably splitting with again, if not winning it, but we'll go split just for the sake of this argument. So that's 8 wins.
Mhm.
San Diego, we generally do pretty well, I feel like.
That's
But
because they're West Coast boys.
let's just say even if we lose that series and only get 1 win out of that, we're at 9 wins. LA, we're probably beating them twice at the end of the season. So that's 11 wins out of the how many games that are left?
7, 8, 9, 10, 19.
Yeah, so I think we easily are winning. Have a winning record by the end of April, easily.
The only 2 series that make me nervous are the Pirates and the Reds.
You have to go 10-9 in order to have your winning record.
And that's why I want to see what they do with the Pirates.
And I was being generous with the games that I thought we would lose.
Mm-hmm.
And that I had 11. I'm pretty sure 11 or 12.
I think you ended up dropping 7 or 8 games. I think you had them dropping. So
yeah,
and that's you assuming they're going to lose the Padres, which historically they have not.
Losing the Padres series and then splitting Cincinnati and Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
No, they easily have a winning record.
I feel that way right now too. Will I on the 18th? I don't know.
I have a bet with my brother.
May, you have San Francisco, which I don't know what they're doing right now, and Toronto. That might be a rough start, but then it's Miami, New York, Washington, Texas, Colorado. We're going to be golden by June when everyone's actually hot and we actually have to play real teams.
Yeah, except we can never beat Miami, so.
Well, when they're 1-80.
We've never played Miami that didn't have, at least Sandy Alcantara and someone else pitching. Generally, they have pretty decent decent starting pitcher and then fair starting pitching outside of that.
Mark this, too, for when we play Miami.
All right. I will duly note it. That has been this week's Jersey Phanatics. It's going to be a fun season. We're only 12 games in. I've been Chris Dace. He's been Erik Barrezo.
Bye-bye.
He's been Tyler Freed.
Your opinions suck.
And we've been the Jersey Phanatics. We'll see you next week. Again, dropping on Friday next week so we can get the series in. And make sure you check out everything at Basement Protocol on Facebook. So do we have an out? I ask this every episode. Just cut it. All right. I'm getting the go home signal.
I got things to push. I don't
know.
We play softball on Sundays. That's fun.
So if you're ever in the Pedricktown area, stop in because he's going ham. Unlike most of our bats on the Phillies.
I need a backup pitcher and an infielder. So
losing connection. A great show. We'll see you next week. Deuces.